He is so lucky that the guy didn't die.
Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. Who is he? Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. And who is he? Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. And what he do? And he's gonna react to all the self-snitching.
Hi, this is Bruce Rivers. Welcome to another fun-filled episode of Criminal Lawyer Reacts. Guess who I am? I'm Bruce Rivers. Guess what I am? Also, I'm a board-certified criminal defense lawyer. I'm coming to you with my pearl handle pistol cufflinks, so graciously gifted to me by our content genius. And it's through the lens of a board-certified lawyer that we are looking at today's video. Now, this is a mall shooting, and I want to warn some people, it's kind of graphic, but it's not really that graphic. But before we get to that, this is brought to you by eSign.com. eSign.com is a very effective way to remotely do business. Let's say you're a streamer and you decide to annoy the shit out of some people, and all of a sudden, because you're streaming and you're doing some stupid shit in a mall, you get trespassed. What do you have to do? Oh my God, I got to fight this trespass because it's eating into my streaming. Well, you go to eSign.com, you download the app, you get 3 free signatures a month. eSign.com is a very effective way to remotely do business. I use it all the time. My grandma uses it all the time. She's still in the basement, but she's getting better. If you have any kind of document, whether it's an agreement, power of attorney, retainer agreement, if you can't be in person, you use eSign.com. You even use eSign.com if you want to get something done quickly. It's a very effective way to remotely do business. I use it for retainer agreements, power of attorneys, medical records, just about everything. So eSign.com, very effective way to remotely do business. Okay, with that said, Alan Coley was in a mall in Virginia, and he is just minding his own business. I think he was like a DoorDasher or, one of the food delivery drivers. And, he gets, it's a deal with the public, and he's got a concealed carry. And while he's in the mall, this dickhead, Tanner Cook, who's got his own YouTube streamer business called Classified Goon, decides to fuck with him and decides to mess with him. He decides to harass him. So what we're going to do right now, we're going to watch this video and break it down, because he went to trial, and we'll talk about that on the other side. And this is a good exercise in what to do and not do, and what are you allowed to do with a firearm, what you're not allowed to do.
What?
So first of all, you see this guy, he's like 6'5", this Tanner Cook. And Coley is just picking up an order, and he's not bothering anybody.
What's that mean?
The two of them are confronting him, but they're not having any lethal force, right?
Quit thinking about my twinkle.
Quit thinking about my twinkle. Now, I know we're funny guys, because we're in the mall, and, we want to get noticed on YouTube, and fucking give me a break. Come on. You can carry things a little too far sometimes, and you see that all the time.
No.
Quit thinking about my twinkle.
Get on my business, what else?
He's asking him several times to leave him alone, and this 21-year-old Cook is not leaving him alone. Where I've stopped it here, you can see he's trying to push the phone away, and Cook, Mr. Goon, continues to encroach on him.
Stop.
Quit thinking about my twinkle.
Stop.
So, stop. Now he's getting angry. But look, he's going for his gun. Boom. Well, just like that. Honestly, how fucking stupid on both of their parts. Now, let's talk about self-defense. So he just whips the gun out, and he so coldly shoots him. That's just so cold. I have never seen anything like that. Let's watch it again, but we're going to watch it quickly, just in real time. I hate that phrase, real time. Well, we'll just watch it through.
What?
Quit thinking about my twinkle.
What's that mean?
Quit thinking about my twinkle.
No.
Quit thinking about my
Get
twinkle.
on my business, what else? Stop.
Quit thinking about my twinkle.
Stop.
He pulled that gun really fucking fast. I mean, he didn't hesitate to shoot it. I think I would have told him, I'm going to shoot you if you don't leave me alone. Probably would have left him alone. Okay, so let's talk about self-defense. What is self-defense? First of all, self-defense is an affirmative defense. What's an affirmative defense? That means that the defendant in a criminal case has the burden to make some showing that there's self-defense. Okay? so that he acted in self-defense. And what do you have to show? Things. One, there's a reasonable belief that the force is justified. I would say, if somebody's harassing you like that, some forces, especially when you ask 3 times for them to stop and they're not stopping. The second element that the attack has to be immediate. He really wasn't being attacked, he was being harassed. But one could argue that being harassed is being attacked. But one of the things you have to have while in an attack is whether or not you had a reasonable fear for either great bodily harm or death. To be a threat. And then, the use of deadly force is limited. The election to use deadly force has to be reasonable. So deadly force is not permitted if the individual is threatened with unlawful force. It is only justifiable if the threats involve great bodily injury or death. You can't just, if somebody's bugging the shit out of you, you can't just fucking shoot them. I mean, you have to believe that your life is in danger. Or you're about to suffer some serious injury. And then the amount of force that you use must be reasonable. Now let's break all this down. He approaches him with a cell phone, not a firearm. He's bugging the crap out of him, and he tells him to stop 3 times, and he's still encroaching on him. With another guy, by the way. And what does he do? He whips his gun out and shoots him 1 time. He is so fucking lucky that the guy didn't die. What was he charged with? The first count that he was charged with was aggravated malicious wounding. Kind of a lot to pack in there. Aggravated malicious wounding. And what aggravated malicious wounding occurs when you maliciously wound, and you keep in time the malice. Malice is like you don't really fucking give a shit. You kind of are mean just for the sake of being mean. It means that, you have a reckless disregard for, life, basically. And so malicious wounding occurs when you maliciously wound, shoots, cuts, or stabs another person, or causes bodily injury by any means, intends to disable, maim, kill, disfigure, and the victim suffers a serious injury, causing significant impairment, physical impairment. So this guy whips out his fucking gun, and he shoots. Now, is that malicious? Because is that a reckless disregard? Probably not. He didn't win this case on self-defense. I think he probably won this because he was really the one being attacked. And here's the other thing. You can't avail yourself of self-defense if you start the fight. Only if there's a break in it and you retreat, you can reinitiate. In Virginia, if you didn't start the fight, there's no duty to retreat. That means you don't have to turn around and run away and have a duty to retreat. That duty is only, where it's reasonable. He was found guilty of discharging a firearm in an occupied dwelling. And, which I found weird because it's a mall, it's not a dwelling. But, you scare the shit out of people when you fire a gun in a mall. Why is that? Because everybody thinks there's going to be another mass shooting, right? And so Mr. Coley has been sitting in fucking jail since April. Since April. I mean, and he was acquitted of the most serious charge. The malicious wounding charge carries with it a 20 to life sentence. So to that end, he won his case because he beat the top count. And they were hung on for a little while on 2 counts, 2 of the gun counts. They acquitted him of 1, and then they convicted him on discharge of a firearm in an occupied dwelling, which nowhere near as serious as the malicious wounding charge. Let's just posit a scenario. So you've got Mr. YouTube, crazy Mr. fucking YouTube guy, and he's going to, harass whoever he's going to harass. And he fucked around and he found out. And this brings up another issue about concealed carry, because this guy did have a concealed carry. But concealed carry doesn't mean you can just do whatever the hell you want, whenever you want. What would have happened if Mr. Coley would have just, put the gun in his face, or just held the gun out and said, back off or I'm going to fucking shoot you? That probably would have been enough. But he didn't even fucking wait 2 seconds. Boom! That's how quickly he did that. That was shocking. That was absolutely shocking. Here, let's just watch it again real quick and just see that, or at least that part of it, because it is so quick.
Quit thinking about my twinkle.
No.
Quit thinking about my
Get out
twinkle.
of my face, I'll stop.
Stop.
Quit thinking about my
Yeah.
twinkle.
Stop!
That's within 17 fucking seconds that he shoots him. 17 seconds is all. I mean, he's just picking up a food order. I mean, what if you're one of his kids and you wouldn't pick up your room? No, I'm kidding. This does raise a whole issue about concealed carry. The concealed carry movement is strong in every state in the country. Okay, if you have a concealed carry permit, it does not authorize you to whip that gun and use it whenever the hell you want. It doesn't. There are restrictions. There are very definite restrictions where, when, and how. You hear that old phrase, I'd rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6. You know what that means, right? You'd rather have a jury trial on the issue rather than have a funeral. And I have seen it over and over and over again, people making the wrong well, if they're seeing me, they've made the wrong choice. Or it's gotten really serious. So I see it over and over again where you have firearms are involved. People have a concealed carry permit, and they think they can just use it whenever they want. I had a case where one time my client was in the basement of his mother-in-law's house. He and his significant other, they weren't married, but they were kind of together, or they were together with kids and stuff. But they had moved here from California, displaced her brother. Her brother had to go get an apartment because they were going to live there and try to save some money. And her brother fucking hated him. Just hated him. My client was in the basement, and they had a bedroom down there and stuff. But the brother had a bunch of his belongings still down there, and he didn't give a shit when he went down there or what he did. So he goes down there ostensibly to get a board game. And fuck you, they're yelling back and forth. So my client goes back to his bedroom, and he goes and grabs a gun like this. And he holds it down like this, and he goes, "Oh, what are you going to do, shoot me?" And he starts going after him. Now, my client had a neck injury, that he had a work comp case, and he was really worried that if he was attacked, he could break his neck. And so he comes and starts walking after him, boom, shoots him in the leg. Okay, well, that's assault with a deadly weapon, but is there self-defense in that scenario? You're in your home. There's a thing called the Castle Doctrine. The Castle Doctrine means you don't have to retreat in your home, and as long as you reasonably believe a felony is about to be committed, you can use deadly force to prevent that felony. And the felony here was a felony assault against himself. People think so many different things about guns. People have strong reactions both ways. And this case that I had was just an example of that. Now, I made the mistake of leaving a firefighter, high-powered lawyer, and former federal law clerk, this is all one person, by the way, on the jury. And at the time, he was the chief judge. It was her former clerk. And so I didn't really want to upset that apple cart, and I figured, this is a fairly simple case, and she turned out to be the foreperson and fucked me. And it happens every time I have a lawyer on the jury for whatever reason. I'm never leaving another lawyer on the jury. However, the prosecutor made the mistake of leaving an NRA member who drew down on a cop who was on his property who didn't announce himself with a shotgun and is unapologetic for it. And his line in the jury room is, "Fuck the law, he's not guilty." So they wound up being a hung jury. So you've got really, really strong opinions about guns on both sides. And so this is in Virginia, and, probably more of a pro-Second Amendment state, probably more of a red state than a blue state. When you have a concealed carry, you have to be really, really careful. Really careful. Because you can't just brandish it. You can't just use it willy-nilly. In that case I just talked to you about, the judge in that case said you could try this case 15 times and get 5 hung juries, 5 acquittals, and 5 guilty verdicts. And so we wound up settling the case for a misdemeanor, which is what I offered all along, and he didn't go to jail. So that's also the benefit of hindsight, because you try a case, and even if you get a hung jury, like last week I got a hung jury, I've had like 4 of them in my career, and they're not pleasant to get. But they do tenderize the prosecutorial meat, as it were. And what that means is they look at their case differently. If all of a sudden it's 7 not guilties and 5 guilties, they're not as apt to either retry it or offer you a better deal because they think they might lose the case. In his own video, if you look at the top comments, "Justice is served, the victim has been acquitted, time to make sure Cook is charged and sentenced for harassment. Keep going so we all get the sequel and see what we all want to see." I'm glad that man was armed. He exercised his right as an American citizen. See what I'm saying? People have strong views, and that right there is not the law. You don't have the right to just fucking blow somebody away, even if they're bugging you. You have to reasonably fear for your life. I mean, I'm not a fan of these kind of comments, but look at it. I mean, this has got 1,900 likes. It's a shame he didn't aim higher. I mean, come on. That kind of talk doesn't help anybody. It inflames people. But that's exactly what this guy did. This goon did. You know, this Cooks. I mean, you fuck around, you're going to find out. And it's so dumb to be that extreme. But this guy got shot and almost killed because he just wanted to get TikTok and internet famous. Keep what I'm saying close to the vest. If you have a concealed carry, make sure you practice what they say to do and not do in your class. Don't think just because you have a gun and you have a permit to carry that gun that you can wield it whenever you want, however you want. The law of self-defense has limitations. And if you observe those, you'll do okay. If you're reckless with them, you're going to go to prison. So I'm Bruce Rivers. Make sure you follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter, follow us on Patreon, and we'll see you next time here on Criminal Lawyer Reacts. I'm part of
Bruce Rivers just broke down your case. He know all the charges that you about to face. You ain't coming home till 2058. That self-snitching gon' get you put away. Bruce Rivers just broke down your case. He know all the charges that you about to face. You ain't coming home till 2058. That self-snitching gon' get you put away.
23-hour lockdown, please, is that my God?